Hi, this is Cooper Manning. Welcome to Home Team TV. My guest today, I guess my conversation is going to be with JJ Redick. And I like to introduce JJ Redick as the all-time leading scorer in Duke basketball history. JJ, welcome.
Great to catch up and chat with you, buddy. And thank you for the introduction. Always a prideful moment to hear that. The all-time leading scorer in Duke history. It's pretty cool.
I don't think that'll ever be broken. Do you?
It's gonna be hard. Well, look at now too. I mean, you've seen in the last 2 weeks, there's 3 high school kids that are going straight to the G League. Good players aren't even gonna go to college anymore.
And I was wondering, I saw where the G League now, they'll pay you $500,000. How did that match up with what you got at Duke your freshman year?
It was a little more. I think my scholarship was about 50, and then when you count the Nike gear that I sold on campus to friends for $20, just to have a little money. No, I didn't do that. I didn't get any money at Duke, man. You know that.
I know.
It's only the SEC schools like Ole Miss and Tennessee that are really paying people.
Yes. That's right. Hence, we're on probation usually about every 5th or 6th year, so it works out great.
Exactly.
I noticed, we were going to talk a lot about your hair this morning, but you've made quite a improvement. What happened?
I wouldn't call it an improvement. I think the quarantine got to me. I think that's the best way to describe it. My kids, Knox and Kai, their hair was starting to get in their eyes. And Kai kept complaining about it. So I was like, buddy, do you want to buzz your head? And he was a little apprehensive, so I said, I'll go first. So I just went, and I was doing it out in the yard. And originally it was a 4 on top and a 2 on the side. And when I just did it in the yard, no mirror. So when I went to the mirror later, I was trying to do a little fade here with a 1, and might have gone too high. So I just said, screw it. I'm doing the whole thing. Kai looks great, though. Kai looks great.
I've heard he's by far the most handsome in the family.
Oh, easy. Yeah. He's here, Knox is here, and then me. Yeah.
What's impressive is Coach K's hair hasn't changed much over the years. He keeps kind of the 2 and the 2, I think.
It's amazing how consistent it's been. He's had the same haircut for, 30 years, 35 years. I'm
having a hard time seeing a difference. Yeah, in '86, Final Four, against Purvis, Never Nervous, it looked very similar, eerily similar to, consistent program, consistent hair. What could go wrong?
It's part of the secret sauce. It is. Yeah. The hair is part of the secret sauce.
As public of a figure as Coach K is, he's still kind of a mysterious guy. I've always just been absolutely in awe of him, and he's nothing ever really bad comes out about him. Everybody respects him. They love him. And he's coached pros, even at the pro level, college. What is the secret sauce?
Gardening.
Really?
Gardening. Yeah. Really likes to garden. The grounds around his house are incredible. I think that's his zen place where he focuses and escapes. I hold him in such a high regard. I was asked the other day, when did the luster wear off when I was playing at Duke? And I'm like, it still hasn't worn off. He's my dad is my hero, and I grew up just idolizing my dad. And Coach K is not like a father figure to me. It's a different sort of regard that I have for him. But he's in that tier below my father. He's in the next tier. There's something about him that I respect so much, and I'm still somehow 18, 19 years later from the first time I met him, I'm still in awe of him.
Would he be impressed with your work ethic during this quarantine? Have you been shooting hoops and line drills, anything? What have you been doing to stay fit?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I found a gym, and basically my hour of day of shooting is my escape. And I I also have been like basically doing like conditioning workouts as part of my basketball workout, just to, get the heart rate up. And so I'm not just like standing there shooting the basketball, but I'm actually doing like conditioning drills mixed in with the basketball stuff. So, I haven't gained any weight, which is great. And then I have a home gym, not a great home gym, but I bought some equipment and just kind of, rigged something up with a bench and some power blocks and some kettlebells and stuff like that. So I'm doing that 3 or 4 times a week.
You're a stylish guy, typically. I mean, you have a style, you're into fashion and what have you. And I was wondering, were you like that at Duke, or did you get that in Orlando, or did you get that in that little period in Milwaukee? Because Jack Sigma always had great style in Milwaukee. I was wondering if that's where it rubbed off for you.
It was those 2 months I played with Mike Dunleavy. His style really rubbed off on me. No, well, first of all, I think my style has like evolved to where I'm such a minimalist now. Like I wear the same like 2 or 3 things to every game. There's no runway walk for me anymore. I used to, when I'm 25, 26, and when I first got to LA, like I'm like, oh, I'm trying to look fly at the game. So I'm not like the young guys. I crushed them a little bit earlier in the season. I put something out on my podcast that, today's NBA player is more concerned with a pregame fit on Instagram than actually winning and losing a basketball game. Maybe that was a little harsh because I look back and I think, I'm 21, 22, and this is the thing to do in the NBA. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to wear the streetwear.
Nothing better than those old long suits with Jordan wear, those coats that, hit the knee.
The power suit. Yeah, the power suit. Amazing.
I love, Jordan. I've been loving watching this, and I've been watching it with my kids, and I have to pause it because they asked me 100 questions. Was he pretty good? What kind of shot did he have? Was he a good free throw shooter? Did he play defense? What was he like? I'm like, it takes us 2 hours to watch a 1-hour documentary. But what have been your most lasting impressions by the first four episodes?
Well, first of all, you bring up a great point in that for the younger generation of people, they didn't get to witness him doing that live. Where I grew up and it was like Duke basketball and Michael Jordan. That's all I cared about. I was telling Chelsea the other day, watching this documentary has just brought back so many memories. I can remember they haven't got there yet, but I remember the 92 finals where he hit 6 threes in the first half. And my parents had told me to go to bed. They were going to tape the game and let me watch it the next day. And I remember creeping down the stairs and glancing around into the living room just to get a peek of that. And when he had 35 at halftime, I'm like, all right, yeah, I can go to bed now. I'm pretty comfortable with that. So it's really cool to see the reaction on social media from some of these people. Cause a lot of the stuff on the show, I've seen it. I think the one thing that really resonated with me, so Doug Collins kind of said this, but in 1988, Michael Jordan won the dunk contest. He won the MVP. He won the MVP of the All-Star game, and he was Defensive Player of the Year. The next year, under Doug Collins, they lose in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Then management hires a new coach, Phil Jackson, who says, MJ, I'm going to take the ball out of your hands. And what does he do? He adapts and actually gets better, and they win. And how many people, not just NBA players, but how many people who are that successful are willing to change for the betterment of other people and not the betterment of themselves? It's remarkable that he had that mindset. It's like, I said this on Twitter, but a lot of people say I want to win. I just want to win. But what they really mean is I want to win on my terms.
Right. And
MJ probably said that to an extent in the 80s, but for him to give up and sacrifice. The other thing I love about this little story is they didn't win it the next year. It wasn't immediate success in 1990. It took a whole another season in 91, for them to finally cross that bridge and win a championship. It's remarkable. I don't know how many people would be able to do that.
You're a big movie guy too. What's your favorite sports movie of all time?
Sports movie. Ooh.
Or basketball, for that matter.
I've pretty much debunked twice now on the podcast. I've got to stop talking about it, but I've pretty much debunked Hoosiers as being a good movie.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
That hurts.
Let me tell you. There's two things. Number one, they show the same plays throughout the movie it's like they'll show 10 plays in a game, and it's the same 3 plays, just different camera angles, and they'll play it off as Jimmy Chitwood getting a steal and banking in a shot in the first quarter, and then he does it again in the fourth quarter, but it's the same play, it's just a different camera angle.
These are fighting words.
Then number 2, Gene Hackman, Norman Dale, not a good coach. You're in the championship game, it's the last shot, and he draws up a play for someone other than Jimmy. Come on. Thank God Jimmy had the stones to say, I'll make it.
But the whole team had to go quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just, because we're talking about the 90s right now, we're talking about my childhood. I would say the Mighty Ducks trilogy. I mean, just incredible trilogy. I was like 12 years old, 9 years old, 15 years old when these were coming out. I loved them. Terrible movies, but I loved them. I love your mustache, by the way. That is.
I was seeing how long this interview could last before we tapped. This is the first time I've ever grown anything, except a bigger ego. This is 6 weeks. I'm barely male as it is. I'm pretty proud of this baby. And Ellen likes it because it's like she's kind of dating a guy she dated in college who had a mustache,
right.
I think. A slight upgrade. You're one of the greatest free throw shooters of all time. Could you have taught Shaq how to shoot free throws back in the day, you think?
No, I think sometimes when I try to shoot like a Fisher-Price ball into a Fisher-Price hoop,
right,
I kind of get the sense of Shaq trying to shoot a free throw.
Yeah, it's like shooting.
It's just different, and when the ball fits that way in your hand, and I know there's some guys too who, whether it's their elbow or their wrist or their shoulder, like they can only shoot the ball on a certain plane. So like not everybody, you can't teach everybody in the whole world to shoot 90% from the free throw line. Otherwise everybody would probably be a much better free throw shooter, right?
That 89 to 90% is like the real barrier. It's hard to get. It's kind of like when you fail that first semester freshman year, you never get over it.
I've had a lot of seasons in the 89s, and you think back and you're like, that's like three or four free throws, and I would have been 90.
I mean, it's a B+. An 89 is a B+.
No doubt.
But no one's making A's, so that's kind of the game.
Yeah, that's true. Are we grading on a sliding scale here is the question.
We're at Duke. You get what you get.
Okay.
What about, and I've also read where you like to intake a lot of beats during the week and especially game day.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
It's not because they taste good. So beets are apparently really good for your cardiovascular system. It has something to do with supplementing the oxygen levels in your blood, which obviously for a sport that it requires a good bit of aerobic activity, it's beneficial. So I eat beets, like on a game day, I'll eat beets either lunch or pregame. And then there's a beet supplement called Beet Elite. And I put that in some water and I chug that with about 30 minutes on the clock.
You cut them up and eat them like as if they were a potato?
Yes. Roasted beets. I mean, look, if I get really lucky on the road and we get back to the hotel for our lunch after shoot around, sometimes at the salad bar they'll have like these little cubed pickled beets, and I'll say, hey, yeah, throw some spinach. Yeah, that's great. Hey, just give me the bowl of beets. Give me all of them. Just be egregious. Come on, give them all to me.
That's amazing. You and I, we had dinner one night and we're talking about NBA stuff, and you said the biggest obstacle is just the sleep, travel, and the sleeping? Elaborate on that. I mean, just the times of when you go to bed and have to wake up are bizarre.
Yeah, no. So part of it is the travel, right? Obviously, if you're playing a 3-game trip and you're like Chicago, Detroit, Boston, let's say. Well, Detroit, the airport is like 45 minutes to an hour to the hotel. So you play the game. It takes whatever amount of time. You get on the plane. Let's say it's January. You de-ice. You got to de-ice the plane, but you can't de-ice the plane until everybody's on the plane, which that whole system takes a while. Then you got to load all the luggage, and you're talking about a pretty sizable traveling party, plus all the equipment, basketballs, all that stuff. So you fly into Boston, and it's 2:30 in the morning, and you've just played a game, so you're still kind of like a little wired, and then like home games, let's say. You play a game, you get out of the arena maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock. You want to grab some food. Sports Center comes on at 12. You're still not really. I haven't come down yet. I'm watching I'm going to the LA Sports Center, and then it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. The nights before games, oh, that's easy. I'm out. I get my 10, 11 hours. I take a great nap during the day, but nights after games are the night of a game after the game is next to impossible.
Now, you've played in a lot of cities. You've obviously been all over the world and played in every city, but you've been in New Orleans now the first year, and I'm sad that you haven't experienced spring in New Orleans, because for the last 60 days it's probably rained 3 times. Weather is gorgeous. It's literally been 70 and sunny every day, and it's just crawfish. And now no one's employed, so you do whatever you want, and everybody's sitting in the backyard and hanging with the neighbors in their little posse. And so
across the street, yeah,
right. And it's been great, but it's crawfish and cold beer, and everything tastes pretty good considering Monday is Saturday night all over again. What have been your initial impressions of New Orleans? What do you like about it? And because you get into the weeds a little bit when you get into a town. I know that.
Oh yes. I do my research. I go explore. You and Ellen have been a great resource when we've had questions. Gotten really tight with Win Butler from Arcade Fire, and I've had some nights with him. He's been a lot of fun. He took me on a random Monday night to Saturn Bar. It was incredible. Like it was similar to the night I went to dinner with you. You get the taste of New Orleans magic. There's a magic in New Orleans, and it's the culture and the music and the food and the socializing and the people. I mean, it's amazing. It really is an amazing place. And the one thing for me, I am a visual person, and so when I'm in a place, whether that's, let's say, the mountains or the beach or our place where I'm at right now, which is an old whaling village where they've maintained the character of the village, and it's just natural beauty. And there's something that's so beautiful about New Orleans, the architecture and the streets and the French Quarter and the trees and the parks. I mean, it's really, I've said this a couple times, but the city of New Orleans has just it's captured me. And I remember, I'll tell you a quick story. The first week we were there, it was October. We'd just come down for training camp. The boys had just started school, done a day of school. And it was a Saturday. And Kai, my youngest, his class had a get together at City Park. And it was it was October again. It was 93 degrees. And I'm sweating. I'm just sweating. It's 94% humidity. I'm just sweating my whatever. And I'm talking to this parent, and I start talking to him. What do you do? Where are you from? Turns out he's from Canada. I'm like, oh, and how long have you been down in New Orleans? He's like, 14 years. I'm like, wow. I was like, yeah, there's just something about New Orleans that it gets in your skin. And I said to him, yeah, it's the heat and the humidity.
Yeah, right.
That's what it is. But now, having lived there for 8 months, I get it. There's something about New Orleans that just gets in your skin, and it's amazing. It's an amazing place. And for someone who spent most of their life there, good on you, man. Good on you.
Well, It's fun. It is fun to run into people who are, you meet a guy from Kansas City and he said, I came down here one weekend. And I'm like, hang on, this is a little different than home. I get it. I gotta find a way to make this work. And then, Tulane people who come from the north who come down and say, I'm never going back. So it is kind of fun to see what people like about it. And it's also, I've been riding my bicycle now. I bought a bicycle, and just because you're looking for activities.
Sure.
And I've ridden in places where I don't normally ride, and I don't know, I have no agenda. I'll go left. I'll keep going left. I'll go right. And it's cool. The French Quarter is really unique right now because it's spooky quiet, but you can stop and you can look at behind and there's a courtyard there, and going back into the bywater. And
that's the other thing. Like, there's the facade of a house and there's a facade of a building, and in New Orleans, you never know what's on the other side of that. There's a lot of adventures waiting on the other side. It's really cool.
It was fun. I have a couple friends who live in the French Quarter. The other day, I'm driving. Someone goes, "Hey, I'm looking at a building down on Royal Street." I said, "I'll go down there and look at it." I'm just looking, for anything to do. I'm driving down there, and it looks, it's completely empty. And I just call these guys, "Hey, I'm riding by your house. Come in the back patio, let's drink a few beers." Like, all right, why not? And it's always kind of green light. So it is pretty neat. It's amazing, JJ, you and I don't know each other very well. We've spent a little time together. Our wives like each other way more than you and I like each other.
That's fair.
It's amazing how many things that you do that I completely disagree with. And it's like, I love how you wear black jeans a lot. I would never wear black jeans. I love how you wear like white shoes over and over and over. I would never. It's amazing, but you look good in it and you have style, so I admire it. So would you say you're a hipster? Are you a hipster? I mean, you do live in Brooklyn and you wear black jeans and white shoes a lot and just have great hair. I was just wondering.
Great hair.
I don't.
There was probably a brief period of time in my life where I would have labeled myself a hipster. I'll own this. I think I'm just a dad now. I'm just
really?
Dad. I find myself just doing dad things,
That's good to know.
And I'm cool with it, man. And I feel like, the NBA, like you were talking style earlier, like the NBA style, in the last 3 years, it just went in this very, very specific way. And I'm just that's not me. I can't veer like that. When I, Tyler Hero, also a cool, young white guy, if I was 19 or 20, I would dress like Tyler Hero for sure, but I just can't do that. I can't. Yeah. I'm not wearing an oversized silk blouse and shirt, with some striped Edward Scissorhand pants. I'm not doing it.
JJ, as you get older, you're 35. Are you 35 now? And all your teammates are 20.
Yeah.
How do you look at them, and then how do they perceive you?
I had great vets in my career, especially when I was in Orlando. And so I saw how they interacted with me. I saw that the best way to make a connection with someone is just to ask questions, and you'll eventually find some commonalities. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker's 21 years old. I've probably spent more time with him on the road than anybody else, and there's other guys that are close to my age. We're wired in a very similar way, and we can have these great conversations at dinner. I didn't know Kenrich Williams at all, and so I'm I get on the plane, and I've had the same seat on any team I've been on the plane for the last 10 years. So I get on the plane, he's sitting in the seat that I was like, "Hey man, do you mind moving over one? Let me take the aisle seat." And so I ended up sitting next to him. We have this great friendship now. It's great, So you just kind of figure out ways to connect with people, and in terms of how I'm perceived, they'd have to ask them, but I would say, there's two rules that I've had in sort of my older NBA career, which is, when you first get to a locker room, maybe don't talk, maybe listen a little bit. and try to see what's going on before you jump right in. You're brought in as a leader or mentor, but like you got to earn people's respect. You got to earn people's trust. And to do that, you just work your ass off. So those are the two things, like just being a listener, and then just working and earning their respect that way.
In the movie sense, could you be a little bit of a Crash Davis here from Bull Durham, and Zion is the next Ebby Calvin Nuke LaLoosh?
I've never watched that movie in its entirety.
Oh my!
I know.
You got some time on your hands. It's a classic.
I know. I've found myself rewatching all these disaster movies. Like, have you watched, like, since quarantine, like, have you watched, like, Contagion, I Am Legend, 2012, The Day After Tomorrow? Like, I'm watching all these movies. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I legitimately...
It's been just Mighty Ducks for me, straight through. And Hoosiers.
Yeah.
But just replaying the same basketball scenes. I don't watch any of the commentary. I just watch just the Hoosiers.
That's great. That's phenomenal.
Well, do you watch? Are you in the Netflix stuff? Are you watching Ozark and Tiger King and that nonsense?
The Bachelor presents Listen to Your Heart.
Ooh, tell me more.
Monday nights, 2 hours.
Well,
I'll put it this way: it's on the television. I can't say that I'm watching it. I'm watching it. No, I've gone all in on the Last Stand. It's like I was at the breaking point where I'm like, oh man, this quarantine thing's really getting to me, and now I'm like, every Sunday night I got something to look forward to for at least 3 more weeks. I've got something to look forward to on Sunday night.
Well, I have a feeling when anyone had the option of watching this interview or watching The Bachelor, they're going with plan B, maybe C. JJ, I appreciate your time. Stay safe. Tell Chelsea and the boys hello, and look forward to getting you back in the Crescent City soon.
All right, man. I'll see you soon. Tell your family hi.
Take care. Bye-bye.